thing. It's like, I would actually be even a little bit more scared if they really did care about teeth that much. That's what I'd be worried about. So, just food for thought. I'll give it a second here. But, unfortunately, this is kind of the way that it's going. Taking elements from the earth, processing it in a way, getting the, chemicals, pollutants, whatever we can, and then selling it back to the people. Unfortunately, I'm not going to get into why this is done, but it's being done. You really do have to question it, of why poison is not just being sold to us, but why we're buying it, why we're putting it in our bodies. And that's really what the main core principle of everything that I'm going to be getting into today is, let's take our responsibility for this. They're not just selling us death. Why are we buying death? Because I'm not sure if you can see it too well. This is my little friend. He's about 3 years old and he's smoking. And this is exactly what's happening to the earth. So the way we treat our body is also reflected in the way that we're treating the earth. And it's the same with these kids. These are my friends, and they're drinking at a real early age, polluting their body. And right now we're polluting the oceans. You can't see it too well. This was just from the BP oil spill, if I'm correct with that. That's pretty much what we're doing to our body. Again, the way we treat our body is the way we're also treating the world collectively. And this is what we're creating. Children with guns and giving them middle fingers and doing dope and smoking pot and strung out. Unfortunately, it's actually not that cute. Because this is the reality of it. Unfortunately, this is the sad reality of what we're actually creating in this world. And yes, I cherry-picked. This isn't everything that's going on the planet. I make it very, very clear that anybody can stand up here and take, like the worst footage and put it up there and say, oh my God, look at the children, look what's going on. Anybody can do that. But in my body, in my physical organism, if I had anything resembling this, I would want to know and I would want it out. I don't care if this only happens once in a great while. I don't care if this is only going on in one spot on the earth. That concerns me. That worries me. Because we are all one. As trite and cliche as that sounds, we are connected. So the health of one is the health of all of us. And I don't want this going on my planet. If anyone were to ask me why I am doing what I do, why Max does what he does, why Freeman does what he does, is because we love you. And we all love each other, and we should love each other enough to address these issues. The smiles on our faces. This is what we're doing to ourselves on the inside. Okay? All of this. This is a reflection of what's actually going on within us. So, we have our family of humanity. And really, what I just have to ask is, what's closer to our actual family? The Partridge family or the Manson family? And the reason why I bring that up is because I'm not speaking about the way we actually are on the outside. Because in some ways you can say that we act civil, but what about inside? How are we acting within? Are we acting like the Partridge family every single day of our lives? Do our thoughts mimic this, or do they mimic that? That's really the question that we have to ask ourselves, and be truthful. So this is part 2. There's only 3 parts again, so I'm going to try and move through this quickly. What I'm getting into here is just the understanding that there's a synthesis between energy and matter that's going on all around us. We understand this. I don't really have to address that too much. But consciousness is really what drives all of this. The reason why my work, and I'll use this word quite a bit with consciousness, the reason why I get into this is because I truly believe that you can mess with these as much as you want. But this is the driving force behind it. That is the intelligence of it. Okay? And I'll get into that within this next, this whole next part. Really address this. To understand, can't really see it. A light bulb is a material vessel. This is just an analogy. A light bulb is a material vessel constructed by conscious intent in order to transform energy into light. Okay, that was the original intent of a light bulb. It was manufactured by some form of intelligence to transform energy in one way, light. This material vessel can only transform energy according to its physical constitution and design, meaning the intelligence that constructed it in a certain way constructed it to do one thing, to transform energy in that way. The matter must be changed by something of intelligence in order for the bulb to transform energy in any different manner. And this is getting somewhere. All matter gives energy a direction and a vehicle to perform a task. It is precisely the physical makeup of the body that dictates how we transform our energy. Because in many ways, if you hear that we are nothing more than, not nothing more than, but we are antennae. We are almost just receivers and transmitters of energy. It makes a lot more sense with this. There's only one force that may transform the material vessel of the body in order to transform energy differently. And why is this important? The manner in which energy is transformed dictates the condition in which the planet evolves. Humanity has the ability to choose, consciously or unconsciously, how we transform energy. Now, the first law of thermodynamics states very, very clearly, nothing out here happens, nothing in here happens without the transformations of energy. That's the first law of thermodynamics. Looking at the planet today, just understanding the way you look at it, and I'm actually not trying to educe a specific idea. I'm not trying to say looking at the planet today because it's horrible. Honestly, take a look at it. Don't take my, my words, don't take my opinions, and don't take Freeman or Max's or anybody else's opinion. Actually look at it. Looking at the planet today, how do you believe we are collectively transforming energy? Because it can travel in two different directions. Evolution or devolution. And evolution or devolution. And I'm also not giving, unfortunately, this symbol has a very negative connotation to it nowadays. And the upward pentagram has a very positive connotation, but I'm not trying to place any value on them. Just understand that energy can either create or destroy, evolution or devolution. And I think this is one of the videos, if this comes through correctly. I put these in there because, I don't know if you can see it very well. This is some of the most original footage of the Lakota tribe. This is Thomas Edison back in the late 1800s took this footage. So this was as far back as we can go with actual footage of the natives and some of their ceremonies. And you can't, I'm not even going to show you the next one because you can't really see it all that well. The one thing I wanted to try and show you with this, though, is just the simple fact that many of the indigenous tribes, many indigenous and a lot of ancient cultures understood these transformations of energy very, very well. Within their rituals, within their ceremonies, in every single day of their lives, they would be very conscious of how they were transforming energy. And they actually had these rituals, these ceremonies, to allow for a group to create, to foster an environment for these energies to be transformed according to divine will. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But to start making some of this make just a little bit more sense, we have to start with this question: what is light? And this is just my interpretation. I'm sure many of you, because there are many very intelligent people here that could really help bring this understanding even more forward. This is just me sitting in my basement, understanding through my experience how my relationship with light has actually been. The light that we observe in our perceivable environment is aware that we are observing it. This is possible because we do not perceive light outside of ourselves. However, we perceive light within our consciousness. By the time we are aware of light, it is already in an alchemical marriage with our consciousness. It is a messenger of nature. It carries information from an object to our consciousness. Now, I'm just going to stop there for a little bit. Imagine that. Imagine light actually carrying information, communicating with us. That's intelligence. We need to understand that this is intelligence out here. Light is quite intelligent, and it's also very truthful. If you think about it, what we see we then pervert later on, after consciousness, after it enters our consciousness. We pervert through everything that we've been taught.